So the other thing we did at Civo Navigate Europe was we had a workshop session, and during that session we taught a bunch of people how to hack an application. And the concept really here is that we've done this quite successfully in the past, where we want people to be able to think like an attacker. We have technologies that do it, but in this scenario it's really about teaching people in their day job how do they think more like an attacker would, and how do they exploit some of the most common vulnerabilities that we still see today when we're testing applications. So we covered things like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, indirect object referencing or IDOR, and we talked about also command injection. All of these are very interesting, fun things to do. We can do it all in 45 minutes, which is really good fun. And also for people that are from like very technical all the way through to people that are in non-technical roles. So you can have people that really have a very limited knowledge of Linux, for example, or like tools, and we're able to teach them how to hack some stuff. And it's fun to do. People like to be able to say, I can hack something. It's normally talking about the main kind of pitfalls of application development. Like if people don't do input validation as a key thing, then you can inject malicious commands and stuff into an application, and sometimes it will return results, and in which case you can then go on to exploit that system. So yeah, we start out by just talking through that, and then we give them access to a platform we've developed which enables them to be able to safely hack away at something without needing any tools, by the way. We don't expect them to have to install all the latest kind of vulnerability scanners or anything like that. They can all do this by hand within their web browser. So the platform allows them to be able to interact with an agent that they're working with. So there's a nice backstory about it. And then they get to set the scene where they would, stage one is to try and get past the login page for the application. Then it all kicks off from there, right? Once they get past the login page, then they have to try and steal information and content and get access to the operating system and get root access to the system. And then we actually gave out some prizes. So for the people that managed to do it the fastest, then we would give them a prize. And the funny thing was, at the very beginning, I was looking around thinking, we're not going to have many people manage to do it in the 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden, the boxes started dropping very quickly. And people were popping access to these systems. But yeah, again, we get such good response. We were having to try and kick everybody out because the next talk was coming and people were still playing around with the boxes. So it was really good. But I think the reason why it works at events like this is you've got a lot of technical people coming to listen to technical talks, and they are excited about technology and how you can hack things. I think once you get to the board and sort of more leadership roles, they're more worried about the impact. And we actually did a separate workshop session where we actually talked to them about incident response, and we actually did incident response tabletop exercises. And so that was for people that are very, very much not on the technical side, but they're involved in the process of writing policies or compliance within an organization. So the idea was that we had 7 teams, and each team would have 3 envelopes. So envelope 1 was the first one they could open, and then they had 10 minutes to identify what the initial challenge was going to be, what the incident was, try and understand what they might need to do next, answer a few questions. And then after that 10 minutes, they got another message that came up putting some more pressure on from somebody within the organization that they were simulating, saying, right, the pressure's increasing, we've looked at incident response plan, it's in pretty bad shape, what do we need to do next? And then the idea was to take the next 10 minutes to then go through the process of, okay, how do we improve this? What else can we do? And then the last one was that a member of the board came in and said, I need to have answers to be able to present back to the rest of the board. Tell me what we've got to do about it. And then they had 10 minutes to then come up with a conclusion. And then the idea was that we then went around the room asking questions of each of the teams to kind of share their insights and their knowledge and their understanding of what the incident was and how they could better improve their security. And each team did a really good job, actually, with very little encouragement from us, to come up with really compelling resolutions to the problems they had. And they picked up a lot of the key issues and key threats that people face at the moment, and really understood that, which is really good to see, because it means that security is becoming something that people are obviously educating themselves on and starting to implement within the business, because these people weren't given any sort of preconceived understandings or prior knowledge of what they were going to be doing. So clearly the information that they gave us was from their own knowledge and how they understood security and compliance and an incident response plan to work. So that was really encouraging and very good to see. And not enough organizations at the moment actually spend time to really do anything more than a tabletop exercise. So we do encourage people to actually simulate attacks in their environments to get the best out of it, which I think is more likely to align better with the board and for the leadership team, so they can understand, okay, and help themselves to be able to sleep easy at night, quite frankly, because they know that an incident response plan exists, they know what the process is going to be, they know whether they're going to need to be involved or not.